It's a very exciting field for data to be in. Having said that, it's not without its challenges. The understanding of data between different organizations are very different. And add to that, the hype that we normally have in artificial intelligence and machine learning both, right? And people think, one end people think it's a black box, one end people think it's all fake, right? So the answer lies in how you craft your data solutions for the organizational needs, organization culture also. Many organizations are open for experimentation. So you break the.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Ingatika's interview series. I'm your host Nimilika, and we are really glad to have you join us today. Today, we have on the show the Chief Data Officer of UB, Matangi Ramachandran. Welcome to the show, Matangi.
Thanks, Nimi. Thanks for having me with Engatica.
Thank you for joining us today. The Ingatika interview series is a powerhouse of insights from industry experts and influencers from around the world, a platform that provides the latest news on AI, automation, and technologies that will help you grow your business. Come, be a part of our community, learn, share, and grow with us. So, Matangi, let me start off our conversation with the basic question on data. How do data driven solutions help businesses grow?
Sure. So data has come a long way, with businesses. And the usage of data dates back very, very long. It is even in, during the period when Arthashastra was written, India was advised to have using data to do administrative governance for the country, right? So data has been an integral part of the business over many, many years now. However, I would like to classify these phases of data into two parts. One is what I would like to call as data-backed era, and the other is data-led era, right? Very simply put. So in the data-backed era, what used to happen is there are experts and there are domain experts, be it in marketing, risk, or any field. They have certain or your clinical trials and things like that, right? So you have a hypothesis about a particular event or a particular strategy, and you consult with your data team saying, how good this strategy is. Can we validate this with data, right? So data was more used for validation of decisions, and some people used it, some people did not use it, depending on how data savvy the organization is, how forward looking the organization is, etc. But they were still, data was used for validating things. Now, the post, the 2005 kind of things, when the internet companies started becoming more mature, when large scale, data was accumulated, hardware also kind of helped this process, right? The infrastructure kind of, grew very vast, and there were always algorithms around the corner. So, which could kind of fuel this, data and decisions through it. Data kind of started occupying slowly but surely center stage, right? And from data backed decisions, right, we move to a situation of data led decisions, right? And I'll again talk about data led decisions in two parts, right? One is data led decisions are large scale micro decisions at scale, right? So millions of decisions at micro level kind of happen. So for example, let's take a cab booking company, right? So which driver gets allocated, what is the route, what should be the rates, etc., are micro decisions. And these micro decisions are happening across multiple players, right? So that's one part of data led decisions. The other part of data led decisions are insights and certain patterns that the data team is able to come out with and lead the company through the thought process, right? So the second part of it is where we democratize data and we enable different teams in the company which may not be so native to data, right? Where we make sure that data is their core part of decision making, that they look at reports, they look at certain insight, they look at certain patterns as they make day in and day out decisions on their own, right? So the second phase of what we are experiencing today, the data led decisions, have both, have the micro decisions powered by large scale ML models, deciding for multiple actors at possibly microseconds that is happening. The other side of it is where the large scale data crunching got a lot more democratized, so that different teams in the company, be it marketing, be it a CEO's office, etc., they are able to make sense of data, understand patterns on their own, and take their decisions forward, right? So it's no more associated with a small group of people, who is kind of enabling in decisions, or making PowerPoint presentations and making very static recommendations to the company. That part of it is a lot getting enabled, across different teams in an organization. So that's the phase we are seeing, and it's a great space to be in. It's a great space to question, every decision and understand whether somebody is saying something that's backed by data, and have they really considered data to make a decision or make a strategy, or how data plays an important role in product roadmaps, or how data plays an important role in sales strategy, etc. Right? So the not so classic data teams, the adoption of data in that is a big achievement in the last few years.
Correct, correct. So you're saying that they are using data to go ahead with critical decisions in a business.
Almost all decisions, I would say, right? Either there are teams working with the machine learning, data science teams to enable, recommendations, deciding interest rates, deciding whether somebody should be offered a loan, etc., kind of decisions. Or everybody has adopted data to a level that whatever decision they have been traditionally taking with a lot of gut feel and intuition has been automatically replaced by data by these teams, which have traditionally not used it, or had to, come to a business analytics team to get their insights, right? But the business analytics teams or the BI teams have kind of enabled the non-data team, data native teams. They are also using data at scale to derive their insights, because that's kind of got automated. Data has got democratized to a greater level.
Yeah. Should all businesses and domains of businesses use data-driven solutions? Or are there?
I think we are living in a world of very large scale data. There is gone are the days where people used to ask whether a certain variable has to be instrumented and what is the ROI of it. We are now thinking anything that can be instrumented should be instrumented, right? Because like I said, our infra has also grown leaps and bounds, so we're not worrying about too much of the compute cost and storage cost and things like that. There are data engineering as a area also has kind of advanced quite a level that instrumentation, you don't need to be worried at a variable level. So all data gets kind of instrumented, and that kind of powers large scale decision making in an organization.
Yeah, so all of them have to use data.
They use it because it becomes so organic to them now that, and it is also easier to justify your decision, right? So it's easier to kind of not toss a coin and go one way or the other, but look at scenario analysis and back it by decisions, and also there is also experimentation capability which has come largely. So you don't need to roll out everything for the full market, right? You can always do phased rollout and phased experiment. And there are research supported, and hence those fields organically have chosen to make data-led decisions.
Yes. So now that we've reached a point where we can track every activity that is happening on a product, for example, how much of that data should we use and how much should be left out?
As much as data that that you can use, right?
So you're saying everything that we capture from a user is very important.
Absolutely. So there's a famous saying by Netscape founder, I think, where he says that if your decisions are not backed by data, if it's going to be just opinions, then let it be mine, right? If it is by data, then we can listen in, right? So something of that nature. So that's the point, right? So it's about it is not anymore about whether you should or whether you should not, which was in phase one, all of these was happening. Phase two of the data journey, data is there, you would rather use it because you also need a sound decision to sound backing to your decision that you have made. and hence
Right.
it fundamentally makes sense to use data to drive those insights. Or,
And apart from the data, yes, sorry.
no, I was just saying use data to back it up with hypothesis or strategy or any action that you take. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So apart from the data that we were capturing, for example, I have a product and I'm capturing every single point that the user is going on, clicking on, all of that. Apart from that data, should I also collect data from my research, combine both of them, and then take a decision? Or should I just go by what my users are doing?
Come again. I didn't understand your question, Nimi. Can you repeat that?
So I have a product and
Yeah.
I get data which I capture by
Okay.
default.
Okay.
That is the data or that is the behavior of my users.
Sure.
And if I want to do some research and get data from outside,
Okay.
I'll get some more data.
Correct.
Should I combine these two and then take a decision for maybe a new feature or a new market strategy? Or should I just go by what my users are doing?
So if it's a new feature, so sorry about this. If it's a new feature, it definitely makes sense to combine the data, right? See, the more the data, the better. And of course, it depends on, use case to use case. So you may have a product which is very different from what the rest of the market is offering, right? Maybe your age groups are different, maybe your positioning is different. And hence, you, as much as you want to have the market data, you may still want to go with a lot of data that's coming internally from your users. Or maybe you are stuck with your users, maybe the product is not growing beyond it, and in which case you will over index it on the market data as compared to what you are seeing. Now, having said all of this, these are all strategies, right? Like, where do you want to go? How much weight you want to give for external data to, how much weight you want to give for internal data, and then you come up with a strategy. Let's say yes, one, right? Now, you should experiment it, right? You should experiment and see what it is. And that experiment tells you which data you should index more, right? Initially, you may say S1 works, where you are giving over indexing on the external data. Maybe S2 is a good mix of internal and external data. But you experiment both these approaches and then see where you are actually getting your growth and then pivot on that strategy. So it's not like this again goes back to the phase 1, phase 2 thing that I was saying, right? Like think about older days where everything was physical, right? You used to get a mailer, you used to get a physical card or things that you have to go to a shop to buy something. Those days, everything is static, right? You make a decision, you got to stick by it. You don't have enough opportunities, segments, visibility, instrumentation was a problem. So you had to stick to a plan and you have to think a lot before making that plan. But today we live in a world of faster experimentation. You could experiment, you could get feedback faster. That's your condition. Then you should figure out as many approaches as possible and experiment. And the experiment data tells you what you should do next.
Yes. So are there any metrics, generic metrics that businesses should consider for a data-driven solution?
So anything starts with a North Star, right? Whatever business you're running, whatever product you're running, ask yourself, what's your North Star metric, right? So the North Star metric is that single metric that tells you whether you are in the right direction or not. And a lot should be debated while choosing a North Star metric. A lot of companies make the decision of, writing either multiple metrics as I want to improve all of this, or, just one person in the team coming up with the North Star metric, right? The North Star metric is kind of a combination of business, product, data science teams, sales folks, customers, everybody's voice should be heard to get a North Star metric. Now, once you align on a North Star metric, then there are different matrices that would eventually lead you to a North Star metric, right? Then you figure out, what those sub matrices are and which figures out the North Star metric. Again, these sub matrices, different matrices could contribute to different weights to a North Star metric. So having one chief metric and multiple sub metrics is important. And then from those, you develop your product or business strategy saying, if I have to increase this, I have to increase. So if I have to increase sales, maybe I have to increase traffic on my, product category page, right? And if I have to increase traffic on product category page, maybe I should invest in certain search engine marketing solutions, right? And hence, so on and so forth. Or another option is I have to improve my design of the page, of design of the landing page, right? Or I should talk about another email marketing kind of strategy. So for one metric, there will be multiple strategies arrive, and each of them can have their own metrics. So imagine this like a metrics tree where different initiatives contribute to different metrics, and they contribute to another metric, and that all of them together form to that one North Star metric, which becomes your key monitoring metric to monitor.
Yeah, that was beautifully explained. Thank you so much. And before we end our conversation, are there any other sound bites you would like to share with our audience?
So it's a very exciting field for data to be in. Having said that, it's not without its challenges. The understanding of data between different organizations are very different. And add to that, the hype that we normally have in artificial intelligence and machine learning work, right? And people think, one end people think it's a black box, one end people think it's all fake, right? So the answer lies in how you craft your data solutions for the organizational needs, organization culture also. Many organizations are open for experimentation. So you break the paradigm slowly, right? Some organizations are fast, wants to grow fast and very open to experimentation. And hence you start out your data organization working parallelly on an experimentation infrastructure, right? So different strategies, different organizations call for different strategies. Different organization culture and their climate and their type of data calls for different strategies, right? So we are at the point where we are, seeing the initial successes from data and, some of the very forward organizations where literally data dictates every strategy, but we still have a long way to go. We have finally started well, I would say. And we have a long way to go from here. And it is important for the data team to understand the value of democratizing data so that you don't restrict it only to your team and spread it. Understand the right opportunity to put your AI and ML solutions and also be an evangelist for data-led decision making in an organization. In order to build data-driven organization, it just does not come from the co-founder or the CEO. It comes largely from the data team evangelizing a data culture in the organization.
Beautiful, yeah. That was very, very beautifully put. Thank you, Matangi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Nimi. And the questions were awesome. So it gave me a great opportunity to reflect on them and think through this. Thanks.
Thank you so much. These were like questions that just popped out, like basic questions that need very good answers, and you were the right person to answer them. Thank you so much again.
Thanks much. Thank you, Anu.